I am Grady.
And I'm Zach.
And I'm Charisse.
And welcome to Highlights, a show where we recap a reality competition show, usually a drag one like it's sports, even though it's not. This season, we are covering the 14th season of RuPaul's Drag Race. And it's time for one of my favorite episodes every season, which is the roast, because it's always both good and also a disaster at the same time. Previously on Drag Race. Last week's episode was the Ross Mathews roast. So this year, Ross Mathews himself is the target of the roast. There's a different one every year. And I got some good stuff and I got some bad stuff. So let's get going there. So at this point, I just assume she's still angry, I guess. But Daya Betty, I know for sure Georges was. But it seems like not everybody is pleased that Bosco had the golden bar or that anyone has a golden bar, because yet again, someone didn't get home. And I have to say, it doesn't necessarily not match what the audience felt as well. So I understood that. And we get a mini challenge this episode, which was also fun. We haven't had one in a bit because we've had too many people. This mini challenge is a painting mini challenge, and we've never really done something like this before, but the queens are tasked with recreating the famous RuPaul and Dolly Parton mural, and they are split into two teams, Team Dolly and Team Ru, and they have to use Novina's new makeup palette to paint the mural.
This was interesting. It was pretty creative. The team choices were really quick to choose their teammates. It was like, bam!
Yeah,
but,
very telling.
I thought it was kind of cool as far as the mini challenge goes. I thought it was like something, I don't remember if it was new and different, but it felt new and different.
I always used to like the challenges when Absolute Vodka used to come by.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be a branding challenge, and the queens would be tasked with like a certain amount of marketing and a certain amount of branding and a certain amount of stuff. And it really lets you into their thought-making process and how confident they are, and just a little bit about them. I appreciate taking the sponsors and bringing the sponsors into RuPaul in a real way and getting the contestants' ability to meet them and stuff. That's awesome. But I thought it was really cool. I don't know that painting your face necessarily equates to being an artist and being able to recreate a mural, but good job, ladies.
But nevertheless, it was hilarious. Especially with Deja Sky thinking she was like killing that nose. She was like, man, she's going to be so happy to see this.
It was so bad.
It was so bad.
You know what might have been even funnier is if they didn't have the stencil and they just they had to sketch it
freehand.
That would have
been amazing.
Imagine. Instead of this paint by numbers.
Right.
Exactly.
Instead of having the pre-done stencil there. Oh gosh, that would have been awesome.
That would have been
Ru would have
been
pissed.
Oh, for real. Everyone would have been insulted.
That being said, Team Dolly is the obvious winner because Team Ru, boy, that was a mess. It was so bad, Ru almost made the face they painted in reaction to seeing it. But as a reward for their victory, Team Dolly gets to set the roast order. But I'm actually surprised to see across the board, everybody, all 7 of them are terrified to do this challenge, which I was kind of surprised because I thought like some people were going to be like automatically not only excited for it, but naturally very good at it. And everybody actually struggled quite a bit, not only writing, but actually delivering some stuff as we'll get to later. But what did you think about everybody as they prepped in the workroom?
I was nervous for a lot of people who I didn't think I was going to be nervous for.
Same.
Like, I really thought, Willow was just going to smash it. I thought Bosco was just going to smash it. I thought Deja Sky was going to just smash it. But they all had that nervousness. Like, they had no idea what they were going to do. So it was kind of rough going into it because it was really anyone's game. I mean, I think we all kind of knew that Georges wasn't going to do very well.
Right.
And then her attitude throughout the entire thing reflected that as well, which was a little disappointing to see. But it was interesting.
Mm-hmm. It was like she decided she wasn't going to do well.
Thank you for bringing that up, Zach. Literally every single week, Georges is like, well, I don't know how to do that. And I'm not good at that. And like, it's so hard to do that. And like, to listen to Georges, everything in the world is just, it's so hard. So I don't know what she's good at. And I don't know like how she got on the show if she's not good at anything. And I feel like every single lip sync looks exactly the same. She gives me the exact same face, which is none. The exact same face, which is none. The exact same steps,
movements.
The exact same movements in the exact same order. She uses the stage in the exact same way. It's just this rerun of, I did it, punch the ghost.
Charisse giving those critiques as she's wearing her I Heart Georges t-shirt.
Oh, don't get me wrong. If you need me to roast myself, I totally can. Have you seen the intro picture? Girl, did you wear earrings? Oh, you did. Girl, did you brush your hair? Oh, you did. Gosh, I bet you just Georges this one and just did it. But maybe next time I can kind of see where you were going with some things and just try to step your pussy up a little bit.
But tell us how you really feel, though.
I can, like I said, I can roast myself. Like I am brutal. I saw that picture and I was like, oh my God, girl, what were you thinking? Like, what were you thinking? You were trying not to look old and you look constipated and like angry and like, oh my God. Have you felt this way
the whole season?
The whole time. Every single time. I'm like, every single time we watch it, I'm like, ugh, you look miserable and stubborn and constipated.
we will do a reshoot.
It's okay. I'm over it. I've just been waiting for the moment to like slide it into our conversation, and the roast was
and it was now.
It was today.
That being said, this week's guest judge is comedian Dulce Sloan, and she is hanging out with Michelle this week to provide feedback on the roast. Michelle always lately has been providing like some of that rehearsal training for the roast, which is weird because I don't think of Michelle as being a comedian of any type, but I will say she is very good, I think, at knowing the structure of what that entails, and very good at writing, and that's probably from like her radio experience and things like that. So I actually really appreciate her feedback when she gives it. I'm always surprised at how good and on point it is. And Dulce was very good. Dulce held back nothing, telling them what worked, what didn't, and was very direct about it, which I actually enjoyed.
But you need that when you're going through your like rough draft and stuff, your initial like shaping of the material.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never, like I used to tell stories, and if you've never practiced a story before you actually say it in front of your audience, whoa, you should never ever do that, right?
Yeah.
Like you need that practice time. Trust me. If you're not interesting enough, there's nothing. No one wants to watch you, except for RuPaul if you're Georges. But you know, whatever.
Yeah, and I could appreciate the like how hard this challenge actually is, because when you think of like stand-up comics, they take months, sometimes a whole year to perfect a set that gets turned into like a Netflix special or something that everyone gets to see. But it takes a long time to prepare that stuff, and they have a week or a couple days to come up with, you know, a roast. So
true. But if you think about the roast in terms of the reading challenge, it's just it's basically the same.
Oh yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah.
Like
you're just all reading the same person.
You're just reading the same person, and you just need it to be a little bit longer and just have maybe like 2 jokes instead of just 1, or you know what I mean? But it's the same format.
Yeah. So where's Jujubee? Bring back Jujubee.
Don't say that. They will.
I know they will. That's why I love it. Anyways, so they give a lot of good feedback. Not everybody's super receptive to it. They give Bosco a lot of feedback because Bosco had nothing that worked, which was surprising, and made me very concerned for Bosco, especially how she's been performing lately. And Deja Sky, as I half expected based on how she was in the workroom, also had not much. Georges barely had anything written at all. So very concerning.
Yeah, she went out there and just like started complimenting them, and they're just like, "Well, thanks for the compliments, but what do you actually have?" Like,
I love that. Yeah, I know. She really
you can't
tried to buy
rely
them
on
in.
your charm to get through every challenge.
Like, you are painted. I was like, shut up. Anyway.
It's always very terrifying for me when the contestants start laughing at their own jokes. And especially when they're giggling, but the judges who are helping them rehearse are not.
Yeah.
And they specifically say, please don't use that joke. Or please don't use it in that way. And then the contestant does anyway. If it's direct, please don't use the foot joke. Please don't use that joke. Deja, please start over on all your jokes. Contestants should really pay attention to that.
I just put it in because I liked it.
They're not there to hurt you. They're not there to insult you. And they're not there to make you fail. They're trying to set you up for success and to help you succeed.
Absolutely. Right. Okay, so it's time to get to the main stage. And Rue's look this week, I actually rather enjoyed. I will say that. Especially
I was living for it.
Yeah. You know, I haven't loved all of them. And especially because we've seen them pop up in other spots. One of her looks 2 weeks ago was actually the UK versus the world promo look that they used for her. They always recycle her looks for the promos. They don't make her do new ones, which is kind of funny.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so it's like sometimes her looks are like they feel repetitive because when she films them, sometimes we see them before we actually see the filmed version, you know, all that stuff. Anyways, but this one I actually really lived for. It was flowy. It was very Diana Ross, which we know she likes anyway. It was gorgeous. I liked it.
She looked lovely.
Yeah, she's like a bottle of champagne flowing down the runway. That's how I imagine Lady Camden would describe it. Anyways.
She's like one of the ghosts at Hogwarts.
Yeah. Michelle looked great as always, I thought, as well. She's always gorgeous. And Dulce looked amazing. You know, she looked good during rehearsals, but on the main stage, like, man, she went for it. Like, she looked like she was renting a cabana somewhere. You know, she was all done up, like sitting by the pool, finding someone to take to her hotel room. She was doing it.
Halter top mullet dress was beautiful.
Yes.
She looked lovely in those colors.
Ribbon in her hair. Oh,
all of
gorgeous.
it. She was
Loved
stunning.
It. Yeah. And Ross was there. Ross looks good too. I don't know his uniform this season. I'm getting over it.
I think that's what it is. It looks like a uniform.
It's true. I think one of the reasons why Michelle, it's true, but he's trying to show off his weight loss, or maybe he's gained a little bit of weight and that's where the jersey varsity jackets are coming from. But I think Michelle looks so lovely because she's so happy. She just looks happy the last few seasons.
She's
just
more herself
beautiful.
than ever. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can tell. It's good stuff. Okay, so this roast. First up for the roast was Bosco, and I thought she did amazing. Blew my expectations away. I was very nervous for her. She really took all the critiques. She did fantastic. Loved it.
She did great for opening the show. Oh my goodness. Like, honestly, for listening to the judges, this is what you can do with their feedback.
Yeah, she took like everything they said and made a really good bit. Perfect to start the roast with.
Which then took us to George's. And what I wrote as we watched it was train wreck that Rue loves for some reason.
Perfect explanation of it too, because it was awful. But like, she was like feeling herself up on the stage. Like she did like, I don't know what was going through her head, but Rue was living for all of it. It's kind of like, what did we say when we were watching it? Like when you see your kids perform at a play and they're so terrible that you just clap anyway. Like Rue was living that moment.
Mm-hmm.
She was like Amy Poehler in Mean Girls, just like filming her.
Seriously. All I could think was, ouch, this is really uncomfortable to watch. Like, I didn't want to be in the room anymore. I just wanted to go away until Georges was done. I just couldn't handle it.
Ouch. I love that. This is painful. Then we had Willow Pill, who was a good course correct. I thought she did really good. I did write she was good, but not Bosco good. She did all right, but I could tell she gets nervous. Like, I don't know what it is. I think Zach pointed out that it was kind of like Snatch Game, where she had some good setups, but then she just gets nervous about her delivery and it kind of bleeds through.
She really seemed to rush it. Like, I didn't have time to get the joke, let alone laugh, before she had fast forwarded and moved on to the next one. And sometimes as a performer, I forget to pause, but she wasn't even breathing through her minute and a half. Like, it was just the quickest, and then she was done.
Then we had Angeria, and I wrote Angeria doing okay. Angeria, all her stuff was bad, but it was like she was so comfortable in the badness of it all and just didn't take it seriously. She knew she wasn't doing well, but she was just excited to be on Drag Race. And
it was delivered
it was fun.
With the confidence of like a 20-year performer.
Yeah, she was like, whatever. Yeah.
I actually thought she did really, really well as far as like her delivery. I mean, obviously her jokes bombed, but she just steamrolled through it. She didn't let it affect her. She wasn't in her head at all. And she looked like she had the most fun up on stage, which was great. Yeah.
It was like at award shows when like presenters have jokes written for them, but they're like not comedians. And she was just like, whatever, this is fun anyway.
I'm glad to be here.
Right, yeah, no, for sure. But if all else, I'm happy to be here.
Exactly. Then we had Diabetes, and my note for Diabetes says, talking too much with like 8 H's at the end of it. And then I wrote, kill me, please. I'm not kidding. That's what my notes say.
That's how I felt about Diabetes all season. Yeah, she came out and said she was super nervous, and I'm sure she intended that to be to take some of the nervousness away, just to kind of like get it out in the open. But when you're doing a set, it really just doesn't go over very well.
Yeah. And she got super nervous, so she just started talking. Oh. Because I actually thought her rehearsals went fairly well. Speaking of bad, Deja Sky was up next, and that was just like watching a house fire. This was a low point.
It was hard to watch. It was really hard. Yeah. I think it was harder to watch than George's.
Then we had Lady Camden, who I actually enjoyed quite a bit. She was almost my favorite just because I like her delivery. It was just so effortless and just lovely. And I thought she was actually really funny. But then she had this joke, which one wasn't original. Like, I feel like I've heard somebody make this joke to Ross Mathews before in previous roasts. And not only was it not original and not that great, but then she like repeated it like 4 times.
Yeah.
Ways, and it just killed the entire ending of her set.
I think she gets nervous, but she channels that, and she doesn't ever let the audience know she's been performing ballet and all these different things for so long. She really knows how to channel her nerves into her performance and take us with her on the journey.
Then it's time for this runway. So first up, we had Bosco, and Bosco I thought was a genius thing. I was a little upset because she's like naked again, like whatever. But I appreciate it at least look different. It's not the same structure of her nakedness or whatever she's doing. And the look was such a serve. I almost couldn't be mad at it. Like, to turn buzzsaws into tutus and just really play with that silhouette and different things. And I just thought it was ingenious and definitely something nobody else was going to think of. Then we had Georges, and I hated it as soon as she walked out. I hated it.
She literally never fulfills the assignment, and she never gets in trouble for it. No one
Right. They
ever
were eating it up.
reads her. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's gross.
Michelle was like, "Oh, I could see Madonna wearing this," and it's like, okay, but like this was not the challenge. This was not the prompt.
Willow Pill was up next, and I lived for Willow Pill's look this.
Yes.
I loved Willow Pills. I almost didn't rate it as a tutu because there were so many other tutu like layers, like the 5 or the 3 tutus down the dress. But she looked fantastic. I love the way that she thinks about these runways.
Yeah. Then we had Angeria, and it was a big no for me. She looked okay. It wasn't like she looked bad in it. It just, it was like a whatever dress to me. And it also didn't read as tutu to me. And I felt like if that's what it was supposed to look like stacked tutus, then they needed to be tutus. Like, they need to be bigger, frillier, like in different sizes to create a shape and all these things. I just wanted more from it for it to fulfill the assignment. And I didn't get that. And I just thought it was like whatever. So it was kind of a miss for me. Then we had Diabetes, and I was pretty upset because I actually really liked this.
Yeah, I got a feel for who Diabetes was from this runway.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was also upset that I liked it so much because I thought it was beautiful. The distress of the tights, everything, like there was a lot of detail in it. She did a really good job.
That makes 3 for 3. Unfortunately, this is the runway that I have been thinking about since we watched the episode.
And then we had Deja Sky, also a really big no ma'am.
What I don't understand though is how Deja Sky's dress read as a prom dress, but Georges's didn't. Was it just because the jacket was over the top of it? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand these passes that Georges gets. Just a free pass, teacher's pet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very evident.
Then we had Lady Camden, and she looked phenomenal. This is a great way to close out this runway.
Yeah, this was last week and this week. These are the kind of caliber that I'd like to see on the runway, the wearable art, where it's like you are completely realizing a character and you're bringing it to the runway. It's just, it was so beautiful.
Camden's was a close second. Like, I thought about Diabetes, I thought about Lady Camden's, and I thought about Bosco's in that order all week long. Everybody else, and Willow Pill, excuse me. But she was in a completely different box. Like, she's in a completely different box for me every single week.
Okay, and then it's time for, as Rue says, to make some decisions. We find out that our tops and bottoms of the week are, in fact, so for tops we have Bosco, Willow, and Angeria. Bottoms are Deja, Daya, and Georges. And Lady Camden of the Wilshire Camdens, nice to meet you, Lord Baron, is safe.
See, I would have switched Camden and Angeria.
I agree.
Me too.
I agree. 100%. That being said, the winner is Bosco, which is fantastic. Another challenge win in her belt. She really needs that after how she's been doing lately. And she gets another $5,000 to her wallet, which is nice. And then for the lip sync, instead of a bottom two, RuPaul tells them that they're all up for elimination because they've saved people too many times. And so they have to chop 2 people this week. It's just the way it is. So Deja, Daya, and Georges are all up for elimination. Crazy stuff. And then, so as expected, the producer is holding a gun to RuPaul's head and tells her that she has to select Diabetes as the winner. No, whatever. But but Georges and Daya Sky go off into the sunset.
The drag sunset.
Okay, it's time for top tweets. Okay, getting into the scoreboard. As always, these are the competitors we started with back in yesteryear. And here's who we have left. This is our top 5 as we go into the semifinals. It also means Georges and Daya Sky got to sashay away at the same time, coming in 7th and 6th place adjacent together. Up for elimination, so now that Georges, who was up for elimination a total of 5 times, including her elimination, is gone, Willow Pill, Lady Camden, and Jerry have all been up for elimination 1 time, punishment for Snatch Game. Daya, Betty, and Bosco having been up for elimination 2 times each, and both actually having been eliminated and saved, either because it was just the beginning of the season for premiere purposes, or in Bosco's case, the gold bar she had, which saved her to slay another day. Challenge wins and rankings, so how tonight changed some things is pretty interesting. So Angeria clinging with white knuckles to her first place spot based on the math. However, Willow Pill, especially placing pretty high this week, it's very close to overtaking her. She just needs to amp it up a little more and she could do it, but we only have 1 challenge left. I don't know if she'll get there. Lady Camden still in 3rd place. Bosco now has 3 challenge wins, but still Lady Camden has performed better overall than Bosco, which is interesting to think about. Daya Betty now officially in 5th place, because there are no more places. So she's in last place still, but she's officially top 5 material, which is interesting. This week's episode is Catwalk, where the top 5 will be performing RuPaul's hit song, quote unquote, hit song Catwalk for the main stage. But it's going to be the semifinals, which means, some predictions are in order based on the stats. So I definitely think it'll still be Angeria or Willow, personally. I think Willow is a strong contender for the crown, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I do not foresee Daya Betty making it to top 4 for the finale.
Unless something catastrophic, and I mean catastrophic, happens with someone's performances next week. I don't see that happening either.
That being said, if you would like to catch any of our past or ongoing and never-ending coverage of season 14 of RuPaul's Drag Race, you can catch it here on the PG Media channel. You can also follow PG Media on social media. Sometimes I post there if I remember. And as always,
thank you for watching highlights.
And we'll see you next time.